Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mdaka. I am a businessman, a property investor, and an author of a book called It's More Than Just Money, a guide to escaping the red race and building generational wealth. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please press the subscribe button so that you don't miss anything that we have to give to you in terms of information and content. And if you want to buy my book, click on the link below or go to www.witnessmdaka.com and make your order of the book. That is how you're going to learn more about property investing, entrepreneurship, and buying shares. Now, today I'm going to be discussing the 5 myths of property investing. We all know that if you are starting out in property, it can be daunting. And I do know as well that there are a couple of myths that are flying around that we're going to be busting today. The first myth we're going to be looking at is that you need a lot of money to invest in property. Now, it is common knowledge that you don't necessarily need a lot of money to invest in property, but I do know that a lot of people do not know this because they've been accustomed to the myth that you need a lot of money to start investing in property. Now, you don't need a lot of money to start investing in property. That is just a myth. What you need is, in South Africa in particular, is to be able to have access to credit. And by access to credit, I mean you need to be able to afford at least the minimum repayments on the property that you are looking to buy, which means that you are going to be buying the property according to your income, not according to your wishes. So if there's a property that's worth 100,000 rands, which there's many in the market, if you go into Property 24, you'll find them, or a property that's worth 500,000 rands, a million rand, it will all depend on whether or not you afford the repayments according to the bank's analysis. So it's a myth that you need a lot of money to invest in property. You don't necessarily need a lot of money to invest in property. You just need access to credit, which would be a mortgage that the bank would be giving to you. Now, for some people that have found other creative ways of investing in property, they would sign an offer to purchase and find investors or individual investors that are willing to invest in certain deals and invest with them on that particular deal or property. Myth number 2 is that it is easy and very quick to make money from property. Now, a lot of people have told stories of how they've made quick bucks from property. Maybe they've bought a rundown property and renovated it to rent it out, or they renovated a rundown property and sold it and made a lot of money. I know a lot of you have heard about those kind of things, but I want to bust this myth this day and say to you that it is not easy and it is not that quick. So you need to be willing to stay the course and go through the process, in terms of finding the right property in the right location and find a property that is going to give you consistent cash flow that is positive and consistent income, right? So it's important for you to go in with the understanding that it is not going to be as quickly and as easy as it looks. You need to be willing to have the long-term understanding of how your investment is going to pan out. Now, myth number 3 is that property investing will always be a passive investment, right? So you'll just buy the property and the money will start rolling in. That is also not necessarily true unless you are buying a property that already has tenants that are paying rental that is high, that gives cash flow, and there's already somebody that you're going to be employing to manage the property on your behalf. And even then, if there is somebody that works for you and is managing the property, you will be managing that person and you will be having conversations on a weekly, probably monthly basis with this person, making sure that your investment is going according to the plan that you have in mind. And also, you have to have a strategy in terms of how you're going to invest in your property. So strategizing, finding the right kind of property in the right location, finding the right tenant to live or stay in your property, all that is work. All that is work that is required in the beginning for you. Renovating the property, making sure that it is rentable. That is work that is going to be required for you to be able to make money from your property. So that's myth number 3. We are busting it and we are saying that it is not always as passive as it looks or as passive as people say it is, unless you are buying into somebody else's development or somebody else's property business and they're doing all the work. Then it is passive. But if you're investing on your own, you're starting out, you want to make money from your investment, you're gonna have to put in the work that is required, right? Now, myth number 4 is that property always goes up in value. So that is not necessarily true, because there are instances where if the market crashes for one or other reason, or maybe in particular, we saw that during COVID-19, a lot of people lost jobs, and therefore a lot of people put up their properties on the market, which means there was an oversupply of properties in the market, which means that the prices of those certain properties went down, which means the value of your property, if you're in a certain area where people are selling their properties, will ultimately go down as well, because there are a lot of people selling properties in that area. So it's important to understand things like demand and supply. So if you've got an oversupply of something in the market, inadvertently it means that the value of your product is going to go down, which means the price is going to go down. And that's the same with property as well. If you've got too many properties that are on the market and yours is one of them, it means that the value of your properties are also going to go down. So in most instances, property values go up, but in some instances, property values do go down because of what is going on in the market, and things like market crashes do happen. And the last myth, the 5th one, is that owning a home is required in order for you to start your property investment journey, right? So you don't necessarily have to own a home first for you to start investing in rental properties. You could be renting somewhere and you decide to buy a building, renovate it, and put in some tenants. Or you could be renting somewhere and decide to buy an investment property that you're gonna renovate and put tenants in. So it's important for you to have that basic understanding, because a lot of people believe that, I need to first have my first home to live in before I start thinking about growing my property investment portfolio or investing in a property that I'm going to rent out. You can start investing in property even if you are living with your parents. In actual fact, I would recommend that you start investing in property before you even buy your first home, which means before you even have a home, you would have built up a portfolio that brings in income, right? So those are the 5 myths of property investing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tune in for the next video. Peace out.